Case Digest on Murthy versus Missouri. Doctrine established in the case. Speech moderation in social media by the government does not equate to state action. One must provide sufficient evidence to prove that their speech restrictions were directly caused by government coercion before it can qualify to be called as state action. Facts of the case. 2 states, Missouri and Louisiana, and 5 individual social media users sued several federal officials and agencies, alleging that the government pressured social media platforms to censor their speech regarding COVID-19 and the 2020 election. The district court issued a preliminary injunction, which was affirmed in part and reversed in part by the Fifth Circuit. The Fifth Circuit held that both the state and individual plaintiffs had standing to seek injunctive relief and that the government entities and officials, by coercing or significantly encouraging the platform's moderation decisions, transformed those decisions into state action. Issue of the case. Whether the federal government's request that private social media companies take steps to prevent the dissemination of purported misinformation transform those content moderation decisions into state action and thus violate users' First Amendment rights. Ruling of the case. The court determined that the plaintiffs did not provide sufficient evidence to prove that their speech restrictions were directly caused by government coercion. The platform's actions, in most cases, were attributed to their own independent policies rather than government influence. The court ruled that the plaintiffs lacked standing for injunctive relief because they failed to establish 2 critical elements. 1. Causation. The plaintiffs could not show a clear causal link between the social media platform's actions and the federal government's pressure. 2. Redressability. The plaintiffs did not demonstrate that an injunction against the government would likely change the platform's behavior, given that much of the government's pressure had already subsided. The court emphasized that at the preliminary injunction stage, plaintiffs must make a clear showing that they are likely to establish each element of standing, which the petitioners failed to do based on the evidence presented. Impact to the legal system. This case establishes that government influence over private entities does not necessarily constitute state action, and that plaintiffs must demonstrate a direct, ongoing harm to obtain injunctive relief.
Learning law is easier with Audio Law Reader. Download now and follow us for more case digests like this.